What's up, everybody? Derek Anderson, the DA. All right, everybody, let's talk a little Marvel Cinematic Universe. We got to talk about the Thunderbolts, second MCU film in theaters so far this year. And yeah, it's going about the way we thought it was going to go when it comes to the box office. On this headline by Deadline, Thunderbolts now aiming at $73 to $77 million. All right, which is actually underneath some of the early box office projections. We remember on Box Office Pro, the long range forecast, they said it was going to have a range of 65 to 85 million. So it's somewhere in between this. But look, this is already less than what Captain America Brave New World got in its opening weekend, all right? Captain America Brave New World had an opening of $88.8 million over the 3-day President's Day weekend, 4-day domestic opening at $100 million. So you're talking about a movie right now, Thunderbolts, that's coming in less than Captain America Brave New World, and we saw how Captain America Brave New World fared out. Yeah, barely scraped over $200 million domestically, only $414 million worldwide, and this is on a budget of well over $300 million. All right? And so, yeah, all kinds of problems with Captain America Brave New World. Look, we saw this coming because, again, the Marvel Cinematic Universe builds upon itself. And so every movie builds to the next movie. And if the last movie was trash, then people are less inclined to go and watch the new movie. And that's basically what's happened with the Thunderbolts. The Thunderbolts, by all accounts, by everybody that I've heard from, for most people, they say it's a good movie. Yeah, Rotten Tomatoes has it at 88% on the tomato meter, 95% with the audiences. This is a good score for this movie. You know, and we thought it was going to be all right. You know, we saw the trailers, say, the trailers are coming out and not looking so bad. Looks like it's going to be a good movie. Everybody seems to be enjoying it. Top critics gave it a 90%. 90% by the top critics. All audience gives it a 94%. You know, I was listening to Kata. Kata liked the movie. Jeremy Prime liked it, said he thought it was pretty solid. I haven't seen it yet because I've been out of the country. I wasn't about to watch it in Japan with like subtitles and all that. I'm like, I can wait till I get back to the States. I haven't seen Sinners yet either, man. I'm behind. But yeah, it's like everybody seems to think it's a good movie. Now, like Film Threat, I think Verbal Riot, Dante from Verbal Riot, he didn't like it too much. Alan Ing didn't like it. Chris Gore seems like he didn't like it the first time, but then he went back and rewatched it, and he said, it's not so bad, you know. So he's giving it a positive review. I think the Critical Drinker didn't like it. So it's kind of a mixed bag, but for the most part, people, generally are saying, hey, it's a good movie. All right? It's a good movie. So this is actually going to help when it comes to word of mouth. Word of mouth is going to help it. But see, the thing is that it's already starting off on a bad note. Only about halfway through $70 million. That's not going to get it done. They're spending $200 million on these joints. They're going to need somewhere in the neighborhood of 650 plus to break even, and they're only getting $77 million in its opening weekend. And we still got stuff coming down the line when it comes to the movies, all right? So yeah, the word of mouth is going to help it, but then how many people are really checked into the Marvel Cinematic Universe right now? How many people are dialed into this universe and they're like, yo, I can't wait to see what happens with Florence Pugh's character, Yelena. How many people really care about this character like that? It might be a good movie, but do people even care to go and see it? Again, the Marvel Cinematic Universe builds upon itself. It needs good blockbuster movie after blockbuster movie after blockbuster movie, and everybody's coming to check for it. It's water cooler talk. Oh, crap, did you see the latest Marvel Cinematic Universe news? Bro, I've been meaning to go and see that. Is it good? Oh, man, it was dope. You got to go and check it out. That's what Marvel needs. It needs all kinds of people buzzing and talking about it. But when the last movie you brought out, Captain America Brave New World, was hot garbage, yeah, everybody's like, nah, I'm good, all right? Plus, I don't know anything about any of these characters. Who the hell is Yelena? Who the hell is the Red Guardian? John Walker, never heard of him. And so, yeah, that's the problem that Marvel has right now. But yeah, let's see what the box office is looking like. It says Marvel Studios and Disney's Thunderbolts has a shot at coming in a bit better for the weekend at $73 to $77 million. As we told you, Friday was close to $32 million. Disney called it at $31.5 million. While we expect more and want more from Marvel during the first weekend of the summer, when you include the Thunderbolts in with all the other holdovers in the marketplace, there's nothing to complain about with all titles doing an estimated $145 million this weekend. That's great for the box office. That is fantastic news for the box office. I think they got Sinners to thank for a lot of that because Sinners brought boys to the yard. got butts and seats. So yeah, I got to go check that out. I heard it's a really good movie. Let's see here. This is where originals now live with Marvel post-COVID. However, what Thunderbolts has going for itself are its exits. Audiences gave it a solid A- to the B- they smacked Captain America Brave New World with. And Florence Pugh, Sebastian Stan, David Harbour, Wyatt Russell, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, Hannah John. Look, all of these names don't matter, okay? They got a lot of names in here. None of these names matter, all right? The fact is that the Marvel Cinematic Universe just ain't what it used to be, and the box office shows it. It has a great 71% definite recommend on post-track. All that bodes well for this pick holding in the summer to come. It's going to need the word of mouth. It's going to need some great hold, some small drops. You know, anything above a 60% drop obviously is bad. Thunderbolts needs to come in around 50%. 50%, okay, that might be all right. But still, you're talking about $77 million opening weekend. Like, that's terrible, man. But again, it shows you where everybody's at with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. People do not trust Marvel, number one, to deliver content that they find of quality. You know, good storytelling, good characters, good acting. They don't trust Marvel with that any longer. On top of the fact that Marvel's been pushing agenda-laden content for the last 5 years. Nobody's here for that, Marvel. Everything post-Endgame. I'm telling you, Endgame was Endgame. That was it. That was over. And since they kept going with it, it was like, okay, let's see what they got. But they gave us this complicated multiverse, which a lot of people are like, I checked out just from the multiverse alone. The multiverse got me up out of there. But then on top of it, they went full MCU. They started pushing all kind of woke bullshit down our throats. She-Hulk, like what? What was She-Hulk? That was your opportunity to do something very unique and interesting, and you handed it over to Jessica Gao, who absolutely destroyed the character. Nobody wants to see She-Hulk in anything going forward. And then all of the other characters, all of these people, everybody that they're playing, nobody knows who any of these folks are, all right? I mean, the hardcore fans obviously do, and maybe a couple of, but the normies, all right? If you want the Marvel Cinematic Universe to take off like it did in the first 3 phases, you need the normie audience to buy in. The normies are not buying it. It's obvious at this point. They haven't bought anything off of Disney Plus, and they haven't gone to see these movies. Diminishing returns yet again for a good movie. That tells you everything you need to know, ladies and gentlemen. You know, so yeah, you know, it's sad, and you know, and unfortunately for the comic book genre, if you're a comic book movie fan like myself, you want to see this genre thrive. You want to see them dive deeper with different types of story, more interesting comic books coming to life. But they'll never get to that if the Thunderbolts, you know, a Marvel Cinematic Universe movie, can't even do well in the box office. You know, that's just the reality of the situation. Yeah, you got a Screen Rant talking about it. The diminishing returns, right? Thunderbolts debuting below Captain America Brave New World. That's the diminishing returns of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. All right, if the Marvel Cinematic Universe is going to be any good at all of these smaller movies got to do well. All right, we know that everybody's going to go and watch the Avengers. And I've said this on the last one. Everybody's going to check for the Avengers, or at least more people will go and see the Avengers than they will something else. People will go see the Avengers. People will go see Spider-Man, you know, and those legacy characters, even though Captain America didn't do very well. But people will go and be more inclined to go and watch those movies than something like the Thunderbolts, which is like, hey, what's that? I don't know what the Thunderbolts is, you know. So, yeah, again, Marvel builds upon itself. If Marvel's not getting the job done and it's not giving you great movie after great movie after great movie, then people are just going to check out of all of it. Which is what's happening, right? You know, meanwhile, Sinners is crossing major milestones, 2 major milestones in a single day. You know, maybe it's time for the original creations to come back. People are kind of tired of these little cheap spinoffs, these cash grabs. You know, they're dropping $200 million on a Florence Pugh movie. Really? Is that what we're doing, Marvel? Believing that this thing is going to somehow pay off. And it absolutely hasn't paid off at all. Yeah, and it only is making $165 million all over the world. Global opening weekend, $165 million for the Thunderbolts. This is such a far drop from where the Marvel Cinematic Universe used to be. Marvel used to rake in major money, you know, for its projects. Yeah, obviously the Thunderbolts, you know, it's not a big household name, all right? But look at how much like Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness made in its global opening. $450 million. All right. Almost 3 times what the Thunderbolts is going to bring in its opening weekend worldwide. That's how far Marvel has fallen off. People just don't care anymore. They're like, you know, whatever, man. Thunderbolts, 165. That's about all they can do. And this, again, tells you everything you need to know about where Marvel is at. So Marvel, in order for Marvel to get back to where it was, it has to not just make one good movie. One good movie is important. And a lot of people are screaming, Marvel is back. No. Slow down, okay? Marvel is not back until it's doing this again, all right? With the Doctor Strange sequel, $450 million. This is what Marvel used to do, all right? Keep in mind that Doctor Strange didn't even get to $1 billion, all right? It was almost halfway to $1 billion in its opening weekend, and it didn't stick the landing. So that tells you a lot as well. Thunderbolts might actually do okay, you know, relatively. You know, I think if Thunderbolts gets to $600 million, they should consider that a win. They should absolutely consider that a win. Anything under Captain America Brave New World, all right? And again, Captain America Brave New World, $414 million opening weekend. Anything under this, it's a failure. I'm sorry, it's a failure. Yeah, I know Thunderbolts, lesser known people. We don't really know who they are. Captain America, at least from the title's perspective, is a bigger character. But if you are losing money with diminishing returns, okay, you're going from 414 million to less than 400 or somewhere in that range, it's a loss. I'm sorry. They're losing money and they're losing reputation, and pretty soon people are just going to stop checking for Marvel altogether. Anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think about this. Again, I just think it's a bad situation right now for Thunderbolts. It might be a good movie, okay? Might be a good movie. I'll probably do it out of the theater review and let you guys know what my thoughts are. I'm going to go see it sometime, either today or tomorrow. And I'll let you guys know what I think of Thunderbolts and if I think it's a good movie or if it's, you know, it's mixed bag from the folks that we trust. But I'll let you guys know what you think. But you guys let me know what y'all think. Jump down in the comments. Give me your thoughts and opinions on that. Thanks for watching.